What if, like, the real key to unlocking your full potential isn't just about, outward striving and ambition? What if it's more about understanding that, like, intricate dance between those external goals and your deepest inner world?
That's a really powerful question, one that gets right to the core of self-discovery, really. Welcome to ASTRALX, illuminating your cosmic path. I'm Lunaria Celine, and I'm here to be your intuitive guide.
And I'm Solarian Zephyr, your cosmic strategist. And in this deep dive, we're going deep into your astrological signature for 2025. Capricorn rising with a Cancer sun. It's like, we're decoding the stars, the celestial blueprint for the year ahead.
This specific pairing, Solarian, it's a really fascinating tapestry of energies, especially I think when we look at it through the lens of the masculine experience. We have this archetype of the builder, the one who establishes things, achieves in the outer world, but it's all interwoven with this deeply sensitive and nurturing inner world.
Absolutely, Lunaria. And it's so interesting because when we talk about individuals with this signature, we're talking about everyone from young guys just starting out to like seasoned grandfathers. It really speaks to how universal this cosmic blend is.
Yeah, totally. And our mission, really, the guiding star for this exploration, is to illuminate that dynamic interplay, between these powerful forces within each of you. We want to uncover how they might shape your journey through 2025, how ultimately they can lead you to a deeper self-awareness and a clearer understanding of your path.
Think of it as our way of helping you illuminate your path with cosmic clarity in the coming year. So let's start with that first impression, the one you often make on the world, either your Capricorn rising. What message does that send out?
The rising sign, as you know, Solarian, it's like the energetic signature you project. And for someone with Capricorn rising, that initial encounter, that first impression, it often leaves people with a sense of remarkable resilience. There's this feeling that this person, they can handle anything. They can navigate life's challenges with real fortitude. And Source One, actually, it highlights this innate ability to weather storms. It talks about this grounded ambition, this very practical approach to achieving
It's
goals.
like the image of someone who's super dependable, someone who's really got their feet on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And there's often this maturity that people pick up on, almost like they have this understanding beyond their years, like an old soul kind of thing. And Source One talks about this too, this accelerated development, this natural composure. It can be pretty striking.
Yeah, I get that. A certain gravitas, maybe even at a young age. And, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So how does that influence manifest in the rising sign?
Oh, Saturn's influence is huge. It's pivotal. And Source 2 really emphasizes this. It underscores these themes of discipline, a really strong work ethic, a deep sense of responsibility. These are defining characteristics. It's like there's this inherent understanding of what it takes to achieve something, and this unwavering dedication to see it through.
So not someone who's easily put off by hard work,
Yeah.
someone with laser focus on their objectives.
Absolutely. Source 3 really hits on this pronounced goal-oriented nature and the value they place on achievements that unfold over time, over the long term. It's about building a lasting legacy, not chasing, fleeting successes.
I see. And so in social settings, how would a Capricorn rising typically behave? What's their demeanor like?
Well, outwardly, they often appear reserved, maybe even a little cautious. Source 3 mentions this observant quality. They kind of take in their surroundings before fully engaging. It's not that they're aloof, it's more like a thoughtful approach to interaction.
I see. So more of a strategic observer than jumping right in, maybe.
Right, exactly. And I think that really contributes to that underlying sense of reliability, that trustworthiness. Source 2 even suggests they often become those anchors for the people around them, the ones people seek out for solid, practical advice, because they just exude this grounded energy.
That makes sense. Are there any physical traits that are common with Capricorn rising?
There can be. Sources 2 and 3, they mention this composed aura, a mature kind of bearing, sometimes even more defined features, and often intense, thoughtful eyes. Some might be taller, have a more prominent bone structure. But of course, these are just tendencies, not, absolutes, just patterns that astrologers often see.
It's fascinating how these celestial energies, they can show up in the physical realm too. But this early development of responsibility and maturity, how do you think that shapes their masculine identity as they move through life?
That's a great question. And Source 2 really delves into this. It suggests that this accelerated maturity, It can lead to them taking on big responsibilities even when they're young. As boys, as young men, they might find themselves in roles that require, a certain level of dependability. And this ends up shaping how they see themselves and also how others see them, solidifying their outward masculine identity.
It's like life is like pushing them into these responsible roles from a young age.
Yeah, in a way it is. But Source 8, it offers a really important nuance. It says that this outward composure, this cool composure, as Source 2 calls it, can sometimes mask a really rich and sensitive inner world. So you have this strength, this practicality that's so apparent, and it can lead people to miss the depth of their emotions.
Oh, that's an important point, Lineria. So beneath that architect's facade, there's more going on, which brings us to their sun sign, Cancer. What can you tell us about that inner world?
So the Cancer Sun, Solarian, it's at the very heart of who they are. It illuminates that innermost self. And Source 10, it describes this realm so beautifully. It talks about this profound emotional depth, these deep-seated nurturing instincts, a powerful intuition that's often unspoken. It's like they experience and understand the world through the lens of their feelings.
So the rising sign is the first impression,
Yeah.
but the sun is like the essence,
Yeah.
the driving force within.
Exactly. And a core need for a Cancer Sun, and Source 10 also highlights this, is this deep need for emotional security and a strong connection to home, to the people they love, this feeling of belonging. It's fundamental to their well-being, to their happiness.
That makes total sense, especially with the nurturing aspect, that desire to create and maintain that safe and comfortable space,
Yeah.
right? Both physically and emotionally.
Exactly. And remember that empathy we talked about earlier? Well, Source 10 really emphasizes their incredible ability to pick up on when people around them are struggling. They're so tuned into the emotional atmosphere.
It's like they have these emotional antenna constantly picking up signals.
Yeah, you could say that. And, Cancer is ruled by the moon, and Source 11 talks about how that can lead to a kind of emotional fluidity, even, shifts in mood. Like just as the moon waxes and wanes, their emotional state can go through these natural cycles.
That fits with the whole water sign thing, right? That natural ebb and flow.
Absolutely. And going back to the theme of family, Source 10 stresses just how important it is to them. That drive to protect, to nurture loved ones, it's so strong. And creating that sanctuary of home, it's often a central focus in their lives.
So while Capricorn rising might be focused on, building a career out in the world, Cancer sun is all about cultivating a nurturing, safe home life.
You put that perfectly, Solarian. But we also have to acknowledge, Source 12 does, that there are potential vulnerabilities that come with the Cancer sun. Like a tendency toward pessimism, maybe a bit of suspicion, and that inclination to retreat into their shell when they feel, emotionally vulnerable.
Like that crab shell, right?
Right.
Offering protection, but maybe also creating some distance.
Precisely. And this is where we start to see that potential for tension, that inner conflict. With that stoic Capricorn rising presentation, you have this vibrant, deeply feeling inner world that they might not always feel comfortable expressing, especially given, societal norms and expectations around masculinity.
Absolutely. And, how does this nurturing Cancer sun play out in their closest relationships?
Yeah.
Specifically with their own mothers and in their roles as fathers or partners.
That's such an interesting question, and Source 11 sheds light on this. It suggests that these nurturing qualities, which we often associate with the mother figure, they really shape those dynamics. As sons, they probably have a profound connection with their moms. And then as fathers and partners, they might redefine traditional masculine caregiving by offering this deep emotional presence and support. It's about nurturing those essential emotional bonds.
So it's like a more emotionally engaged kind of strength
Yeah.
than the traditional stoic way, maybe?
Yes, exactly. And Sources 14 and 10, they highlight that unwavering loyalty they have, that protectiveness towards the people they love, and also that wellspring of creativity, of imagination that's fueled by that rich inner world of the Cancer sun.
So we've got this compelling duality. This outward-facing architect of Capricorn rising, and then this deeply feeling nurturer of the Cancer sun. How do these two powerful energies interact? Where might there be friction?
Well, Source 5 speaks directly to this. It points to the potential for inner conflict, stemming from that disciplined, often reserved nature of Capricorn, kind of clashing with that deeply emotional, sensitive Cancer sun. It's like two strong currents within the same person, and sometimes they're flowing in opposite directions.
And as we talked about before, society often values, reinforces that
Mhm.
Capricornian side in men, the strength, the control, the achievement. Does that make it even harder to express those more vulnerable Cancerian emotions?
Absolutely. Source 8 explores this. It talks about how societal expectations can lead to suppressing those more emotionally expressive parts of the Cancer sun. There's this pressure, often unspoken, to embody that strong, silent type. And that can create a real internal struggle.
Right. But like we said, real strength isn't about burying emotions. It's about acknowledging them, integrating them.
Yes, exactly, Solarian. True strength is in embracing that ambition, that drive of Capricorn, and the vulnerability and emotional intelligence of Cancer. It's a much more whole, authentic expression of self.
And what happens if someone keeps suppressing those core Cancerian emotions? What are the consequences?
Well, like we've been hinting at, it can lead to a lot of internal stress, a sense of being disconnected from your true self. That's what Source 8 suggests. It can also really hinder deep, intimate connections. Because if you can't express your authentic feelings, building genuine intimacy is so much harder.
So finding healthy outlets for those Cancerian emotions is crucial. What are some practices that might help?
Creative pursuits can be incredibly therapeutic. Anything that allows them to express their emotions in a safe, personal way. Nurturing close relationships where they feel truly seen, truly understood, that's vital. And then self-care practices that really nourish their emotional well-being.
It's about striking that balance, isn't it? Letting those Cancerian emotional waters flow freely, but without compromising the structural integrity of that Capricornian foundation.
Yes, that's it, exactly. And when they find that equilibrium, that disciplined climb of Capricorn, it gains this deeper purpose. It's anchored by Cancer's compassion, that care for others. It becomes more than just achievement for achievement's sake.
I love that analogy you used earlier, Lunaria. A gooey marshmallow inside with substantial armored walls. Can you expand on that a bit? How does that illustrate this interplay?
I love that image. It really captures the essence of this combination. Capricorn rising, it provides that outer layer of strength, that resilience, the capacity to build, to achieve. But at the core, there's this warm, sensitive, deeply feeling essence that's the Cancer sun. And the key is recognizing and honoring both. That's how they can navigate life in a healthy, fulfilling way.
I see. Okay, so we've got a good grasp of those fundamental energies at play. Now let's look ahead. What major celestial influences in 2025, what should we be paying attention to with this astrological signature?
2025 is a year of big celestial shifts. Source 24 really dives into this. There are several key planetary transits that are going to influence this Capricorn rising Cancer sun dynamic. First up, we have the lunar nodes. They're entering Virgo and Pisces on January 11th, and that highlights a real need to balance practicality with emotional and spiritual nourishment. Source 23 talks about this. So for you, Solarian, this might mean consciously making an effort to harmonize your professional goals with your inner well-being, with what your soul needs.
So it's not just about climbing that ladder, but also nurturing what's going on inside.
Right. And then we have Saturn. It's continuing its transit through Pisces, and then it enters Aries. This all started in 2023 and goes until September 1st, 2025, according to Source 24. This period, it can bring some challenges to established structures, to your sense of authority. It can bring some valuable lessons around responsibility, setting boundaries, and integrating a deeper sense of spirituality into your practical life. And when Saturn moves into Aries, it can encourage a more assertive pursuit of your Capricornian goals, but also cultivating patience at the same time.
It sounds like a period of challenge that ultimately leads to growth.
Yeah, that's often Saturn's wisdom, isn't it? And then following that, we've got Neptune entering Aries from March 30th to October 22nd, 2025. Source 24 tells us this can help soften some of that Capricorn rigidity, inspire more creativity, and encourage a less conventional approach to your goals.
Yeah.
Maybe even envisioning a path that's more aligned with your spiritual values or creative inclinations.
So a chance to dream bigger, maybe beyond those traditional personal expectations.
Exactly. And then Venus stations retrograde in Aries and then Pisces from March 1st to April 12th, 2025, according to Source 24. And this period invites you to reflect on your relationships, your finances, your core values. It can be time to really examine your intimate connections, that Cancerian influence, and how your ambitions weave into your personal life, maybe revisiting old relationship patterns.
Sounds like a good time for some introspection in those key areas.
It is. Now, Jupiter's transit through Gemini and then into Cancer, this one is especially significant. It starts in Gemini, but then it enters Cancer on June 9th, 2025, and stays there until June 9th, 2026. This is a really auspicious period, especially while it's in Cancer. It can bring opportunities for emotional healing, for strengthening family bonds, creating a more nurturing home environment. This really resonates with those deep Cancer sun desires. And Source 24, it even says that Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, which means it's in a super strong, positive position.
So that's like a real boost for those Cancerian aspects, especially in the later part of the year.
Yeah, it is. Now, Mars will be retrograde in Cancer until mid-April 2025, and then it goes direct in Leo. Source 24 mentions that this could bring some frustrations early on, some heightened emotions in your relationships, maybe some challenges with conflict. It's a time to reevaluate your goals before moving forward with renewed energy.
So potential for some bumps in the road, relationship-wise, early in the year, and then more clarity later on.
Yeah, that's the likely scenario. And finally, we have the eclipses. They're happening in Virgo and Aries in March and September 2025. Eclipses are often these catalysts for big change. Lunar eclipses can bring emotional revelations and culminations, while solar eclipses signal new beginnings, shifts in direction, so they could prompt some reassessments in your career, home life, personal relationships.
Wow, it sounds like a year packed with dynamic energy and real opportunities for growth.
It is. And now let's zoom out a little and look at the bigger picture, the life journey of someone with this celestial combination. It's often, as Source 8 describes it so well, this ongoing conversation between personal ambition and those deep emotional needs.
That constant negotiation between the outwardly competent persona and that rich, often very private inner world, it sounds like a tough balancing act.
It can be. And a persistent theme, as we've discussed, is this inherent search for security.
Hmm.
And they seek it through those professional achievements, that's the Capricorn side, and within a stable, loving home, that's the Cancer side. Both are essential for their sense of balance.
And what are some of the challenges they might face along the way?
Source 22 highlights a few.
Hmm.
Feeling misunderstood, maybe struggling with vulnerability because it seems at odds with that Capricornian exterior, navigating those natural shifts in mood that come with the Cancer sun, and then that classic challenge of balancing work and family life.
It's a lot to juggle, but what are their strengths? What are the positive things that come from this unique blend?
Oh, there are so many. Source 4 really emphasizes resilience, that ability to bounce back from setbacks, learn from them, that fusion of ambition and empathy, that's powerful. And then their natural ability to nurture, to provide for the people they care about. And of course, that grounded, persistent approach to goals, that Capricorn hallmark, that's invaluable.
So that duality isn't just a source of conflict, it can be a source of strength, too.
Exactly, Solarian. And it often leads to a life journey that's complex, yeah, but also full of potential for growth and self-discovery. And Source 8 also mentions that with a Capricorn rising, their descendant, the sign that rules partnerships, is often Cancer. What do you think that tells us about their relationships?
Oh, that's interesting. The descent, that's the sign opposite the ascendant, right?
Yeah.
And it represents the qualities we're drawn to in our closest relationships, especially romantic ones. So a Cancer descendant suggests they're looking for partners who embody those nurturing, emotionally expressive Cancerian qualities.
Yes, precisely. And Source 31 touches on this too. It says that this often influences their choices in partners and how they see partnership as a space for emotional support, for vulnerability, for deep connection.
So that outwardly reserved Capricorn is often drawn to someone who's emotionally open and caring, someone who can help create that inner sanctuary. That makes a lot of sense.
It does. And remember, Source 44 reminds us that a core purpose for those with Capricorn rising, it often involves achieving big things, creating a lasting legacy in the world.
Hmm.
But that drive for accomplishment, it takes on a deeper meaning when it's combined with the Cancer sun's emotional depth, that nurturing spirit, that keen intuition. Source 10 really illustrates that beautifully.
It's like that ambition is infused with heart, with a deeper purpose that goes beyond just personal achievement.
Exactly. And that path to wholeness, it lies in consciously integrating those seemingly different sides, the ambitious and the nurturing. It's about embracing both those traditionally labeled masculine and feminine aspects within themselves. That's what Source 11 suggests.
And that's something that's being recognized more and more these days, right? That emotional intelligence, it's a strength for men, not a weakness.
Absolutely. Source 11 underscores that growing appreciation for emotional intelligence in men. So what are some practical ways to help someone with this signature integrate these sides?
Well, mindfulness, self-reflection, those seem like good places to start,
Yeah,
really understanding and acknowledging that inner emotional landscape.
for sure. And actively seeking out healthy ways to express their emotions is key, as is setting clear, compassionate boundaries to protect that sensitive Cancerian core while still pursuing those Capricornian goals.
So recognizing and honoring that Cancerian depth can actually enhance that Capricornian drive, give it a greater sense of purpose, maybe even foster a more empathetic style of leadership.
Yes, absolutely. It shifts the focus away from just personal gain towards a desire to nurture and care for the well-being of others too. But we also have to acknowledge that the potential for conflict, that's always there. Finding that balance between emotional expression and practicality, it's an ongoing process.
That image of the hard shell with an ooey gooey middle, it really is a central theme here.
It is. And the amazing Helen Keller once said, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched, they must be felt with the heart. And Source 61 quotes her. That really speaks to how vital it is to embrace the emotional realm.
And that vision of the Capricorn rising, who's outwardly strong but also deeply caring on the inside, that's what that harmonious integration looks like.
Yes, exactly. It shows that you can be both the architect of your life and a deeply nurturing presence. And those qualities can not only coexist, but they can actually enhance each other.
So looking ahead to 2025 seems like a really powerful year for those with this signature to illuminate their path, gain some real cosmic clarity.
I agree, Solarian. You have this unique, powerful blend of ambition and empathy, discipline and nurturing, resilient and emotional depth. It's a remarkable combination.
And the journey of integrating these forces, while it may have its challenges, it ultimately leads to a more authentic, fulfilling, and meaningful experience of masculinity.
It's about embracing that beautiful complexity of your own cosmic blueprint.
So as you navigate 2025, we invite you to consider this. How might embracing both your inner nurturer and your outer architect redefine how you see strength and success in the coming year? What new possibilities might emerge if you fully integrated these seemingly opposite but actually deeply complementary aspects of yourself? This is your cosmic path to illuminate.
Thank you for joining us on ASTRALX, illuminating your cosmic path. If you connected with this deep dive into your 2025 astrological blueprint, we invite you to go even deeper with a personalized astral reading crafted just for you. These in-depth audio readings are delivered right to your inbox, and they offer tailored insights and guidance based on your unique cosmic signature. You can find purchase links and more information in the description below. Until our next cosmic exploration, may your path be illuminated with wisdom and clarity.